a lot of places which are so focused on employment
Yeah.
and income, and there's a lot of fighting for just get a job, and a lot of people got into engineering because of it. And I think what you're
Yeah.
talking about is very similar to to this really cool concept that I heard one of the people who was actually on the podcast as well, Jayashree Seth from 3M. She talks about this in her TEDx, which is like the biggest reason why, the biggest thing that's missing for women to grow in STEM is context, right? So, meaning what you just said, if I can look at my past and create that story, that, what we do in the academy, the Your STEM story kind of journey, if we can connect all these dots, then we have more context and we can make sense of our choices as well. So, even if you don't have this clarity that Deepthi just shared about, like, oh, I always loved it, maybe you sit down and try to figure out how you ended up here, and a lot of times that opens more doors, right? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I made the wrong choice because of money and because of this and because of that, and then they feel stuck, and then they're like, oh, I can't control my future. This, which is what you did. I mean, you were in that field in medicine, and you're like, okay, you know what, like, I have these other interests and I want to grow. And just having that context helped you push through, be like, oh, I've always loved computers, so I can actually take this bold move, right? So I feel like sometimes
Yeah.
people, if they just look back, like you said, just look back and try to connect and create some context, so that that context then helps you make bold choices and move forward, is what I'm hearing. And I think that's just taking that time to reflect, I
Absolutely.
think it's so powerful.
I think, you brought up a good point when, as Asians and Indians, and we are taught to be like, okay, it's either engineering or doctor when you grow up, right? There's limited
Yeah.
options. But I think as you, grow, you evolve, you understand what you really like. And today the times have changed, and I think that there are many options. You have so many options, and you can definitely give it a chance. If you have passion liking towards certain things, you should definitely go for it.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. So, what was one of the biggest challenges that you had early on in your career, Dipti? I know, you became a mom and, all these different things. I'm sure you had a lot of challenges in those 17 years. What's one of your first memory of being challenged in the STEM ecosystem?
Yeah, I don't know. Somehow I see challenges very differently. You know, um, it's not that I didn't face challenges. I did face a lot of challenges, and especially, I think every woman has a few things in her life, especially like most of the women face, right. First is the childbearing phase.
Mm,
Then there is menopausal, perimenopausal.
mm,
These are something which cannot be avoided, right? And
mm.
those are the, I think, maybe I'm I'm just revealing that I've crossed 40. So I know one of the challenges which I'm currently facing, which many people won't talk about it, is that there are certain biological changes happening in our body. And coming from medical background, I know there are certain things which happen, like the perimenopausal stage and menopausal stage. Certain times, we while we do work, we also have to manage ourselves in terms of certain changes happening in our body, especially during childbearing or
Mm.
other stages, right? And there are a lot of fluctuations happening, and that do happen, and it's real. And navigating through those mood swings, navigating through those things, and managing different aspects of your life, like home and office, and the other things, is something which I think I have learned through. And it was kind of a hard way, because
Mm.
we don't have role models to see. Like, if you see corporates, right, we have very few leaders, women leaders. And after a certain age, there are very few leaders, right? The career path becomes narrower. So how do we learn, right? And I think this is the space where more and more women can come forward and talk about the challenges, and especially the biological challenges, which
Mm.
we can't avoid, right? And what I think in this phase is, I understood, is that self care, self management is at most important, and self
Mm.
awareness, that yes, these are going to trouble you in certain periods. And one of the things I manage is communicating. One of the meetings, I was having severe kind of migraine because of the period starting. So I just, in the meeting I couldn't coordinate well, so I
Mm.
directly communicated with the my manager,
Right.
I'm facing this issue and I need some time and I'll get back. And I think communicating and setting up the stage, and I would say the rest of the days when you are feeling really good and your hormones have kicked up, you give it 100%, and then people
Mm.
will start believing you and trusting you, and they would accept you with all the flaws, with all the things which you are doing. So I think these are the types of challenges, because I wanted to talk about other challenges also, but I thought nobody would talk about the biological challenges. So let
Ah.
me talk about this.